A number of important engagements that have been coming up. We've been hearing from esteemed presenters, representatives from government, from business, all echoing the same sentiments, and that it is important to ensure that in everything we do, we consider driving an inclusive, growing economy and harnessing the different capacities that we have from an economic point of view to ensure that we're providing for the South African people and that we're providing economic benefits that are going to enhance the growth of our of the country, essentially. But joining me currently is as presidential envoy to North America, Mr. Ngcobo Jonas, who's also the chairperson of the MTN Group. He's going to be speaking to us a little bit about what he had to say in his presentation at this forum. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ngcobo Jonas. Can you just tell us, you spoke a lot about the importance of leadership in government and ethical leadership at that, and how important that is in terms of driving an inclusive economy. Can you just expand a little bit more on that?
I guess, there were 4 points that we really tried to drive home. The first was that I think we need to have a culture of listening to the people. Just listening to what people are saying, the messages that are coming from the people, etc. Whether it's on migration issue, whether is it on growth issues, whatever the issue is, crime, etc. We have to recast ourselves as a listening government, as a listening society, as a listening leadership. The second, I think, is that we've got to look at rebuilding the capacity of the state, because I think institutions are fundamental for development. If you have weak institutions, it affects everything. Low growth, it affects the status of health, education, and everything else. And we have an experience that over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen our institutions being repurposed for corruption. Tembisa Hospital is a case in point now. You have many of those things that are untold at the moment. I think building the state is fundamental. Policing must be strengthened. Education must be strengthened. Otherwise, you would find more exclusion, because private education thrives, private security thrives, and people are outside of that system. That is important. We made that point very clear as a part of the strategy. This third point we made is about growth and transformation. And again, if you don't have growing economy, you might not be able to transform. If you don't transform, you might not have a growing economy. So we need to look at how our ports are functioning, how our road networks are functioning, and logistics systems are functioning, electricity, and get those things, just basic things, get them right, so that we can agriculture, we must actually start making it work, and the mining industry, etc. That's the one part. As we do that, we must ensure that we promote transformation and inclusivity as we do those things. And those are the probably 4 core points that we made as a kind of proposal. But fundamentally, the last point we're making is that we're unable to do some of these things because of the nature of politics. We use the term political agency is important. It talks to the leadership quality, it talks to the credibility of leadership, it talks to the ability of leadership to convene society and different sectors of society behind a common program. That's something that we must converse about and talk about and come to an agreement about. Let's face it, the credibility of our leadership is very low. The credibility of our institutions is very low. Political party credibility is low. Now, how do you convince people that these people can say something that they mean and they are going to execute, as it were? I kind of one time was making a joke to say, if the country is burning, a single person can stand up and say, hey, go this direction, and people will follow. The answer is no. And that's purely a credibility and integrity issue that we face as a country.